Hello, Vidargavia here, and welcome to this super simple, small, anyone can build it, Minecraft flower farm for all flowers, an all-flower flower farm. A Minecraft all-flower flower farm. Yep, that's it. And yeah, as you can see, we're here in a flower forest. That is the first trick here in this tutorial, is to find yourself a flower forest like this one. You will get almost all flowers from a flower forest, but you will not get the orchard, this one here. So for that you need to find a swamp. And this little corner here just so happens to be a swamp. You can see a bone meal down here. And this here is flower farms. And so for this flower farm you build modules like this one. There's a light source in here. There's no magic. It's just a light source. A bit of redstone here. Some pistons here. And then a little tiny clock underneath here with a dispenser with bone meal in it. So yeah, you do need bone meal, a source of bone meal for this farm. So what materials do you need for this all-flower flower farm? Well, you need, for one module, you need 7 pistons, 3 slime blocks, 2 actually redstone blocks, some sort of light source, a dispenser, 2 repeaters, 2 comparators, 2 hoppers, 3 sticky pistons, some redstone dust, a couple of buckets of water, a barrel or a chest, and some blocks of your choice. Yeah, so that's what you need. And yeah, you start by finding the spot that you want, okay? And to do that is quite simple. You go around in your flower forest with a bit of bone meal, and then you remove all the naturally spawned or pre-generated flowers, and then you bone meal it and see what comes up. So this would be a good place for tulips, for instance, because the thing is with flower forests, you can think that the flowers just spawn the way they randomly, but they don't. They spawn in a pattern, according to a noise pattern. And so whatever you find, in this case it would be oxide daisy, whatever you find when you bone meal is what you'll find when you bone meal in the farm. So what I found here, for instance, here's a good place for the cornflowers, and I think oxide daisies as well, and lilies. And so what we see in the chest here is just that. So instead of building a massive farm all over the flower forest, find some little spots that contain all the 12 flowers that you can collect in this manner. And here's where I'm going to talk a little bit about, before we start building, about flower theory here in Minecraft. And so the tulips and the poppies, they both give you red dye. So really, if all you're interested in is the dye, you don't really need to collect both of them, only one of them. The same goes for the azure bluet, the white tulip, and the oxide daisy. They both, or all three, collect light grey dye. The pink tulip is unique. It collects only pink dye. It is the only thing that collects pink dye, except of course there are the 2 tall flowers as well, but we'll get to those in a minute. The orange tulip is unique. Lily of Valley is unique, collecting white dye. Cornflower collects blue dye, whereas the allium collects magenta dye, and the orchid that lives in the swamp collects light blue dye. Yellow dye you can get from the dandelion, it's unique like that. You can also build a Wither Rose farm from black dye, or you can get those from squid, of course. And then we have the 4 tall flowers, which is very easy to build farms for as well. And you can build them anywhere, not just in a flower forest. So check out my video for that, for the very easy 2 tall flower farms. So that gets you almost covered, right? Other than that, there are 6 more dyes in the game. And that is cyan, grey and purple. And those 3 you have got to create. Okay, there's no way to farm these. But then we have these 3 as well, which you can also build farms for. You can build a semi-automatic lime dye farm with sea pickles, a semi-automatic cocoa bean farm for brown dye, and a fully automatic cactus farm for the green dye. Okay, but I've been rambling on and on here, so let's instead build this farm. One module we're going to build, and we'll pick the location that we picked out there before. We're just going to get some stuff. Alright, so we start out by making a 7x7 area, and you can of course build this at any height. I'm just going up above the trees here so we don't have to faff around. So if we say that this is our center point, we go out 3 blocks in each direction, like this. And then down here, we're going to put down our dispenser and then cover it with grass as well. Then you make a square out of this. Alright, so that's that. Next step here is to take a block of choice. I prefer leaves because nothing can spawn on them. Choose a side. And this is going to be the water side. And then build up a little water containment area here. Like so. And then we're going to put in our pistons. And they're going to go on this grass block like that. Okay. So one of them, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright. So that's that. Now we're going to have a block behind here. Any block will do, but leaves won't do because we're going to have redstone on top of this this block in a minute. Alright, right above your center here. So 1, 2, 3 here. You can put in a light source. And you can decorate this any way you like, of course. But the light source there is pretty good to have because then the farm works at night as well. Okay, next step is to fill in around here, but leave 1 block's gap in between the leaves on the side opposite to the pistons and the grass. And you should fill it in too high, and you can fill it in higher. Okay, so go back to this little gap that you left, build down a block and down another block, and then put a string of leaves here, like so. Take one of your hoppers and take a chest or a barrel, put the barrel in like that, take away the last leaf and shift click in the hopper like that. This is going to be your collection point, so all the stuff is going to end up in this barrel. Okay, finally take this leafage all around to the outskirts here. So that looks like this. It's time for some water here. First off, you put a bucket of water here. It should run all the way over to the hopper. Leaf block there. So now you see that if we put a leaf block in here, for instance, it'll end up in the hopper and then end up in the barrel. Nice. Okay. More water here. We're going to fill in all of this water down here. Okay, and so then in the end it's going to look like this. So that's the upper part of the farm done. Now we need to go down underneath it. And the basic idea here is we need to power this dispenser. And we need to also get the signal up here to the pistons. Alright, but anyway, build a little platform under here or just dig it out. So it's time to build a little clock. You put down it's an ether hopper clock. Put down a hopper, place a hopper into that, take that away and place it down again. You actually need 3 hoppers for this. I'm just now realizing, but anyway. Then behind these hoppers, we're going to listen. Okay, so when there's an item in this here hopper, this comparator will turn on. And as you can see, it's already a clock here, right? Alright, this is going to go into a block on each side. We need some blocks here as well, actually. And then there's a bit of redstone here, which will now also start flashing, as you can see. Onto that redstone, we take the last 2 sticky pistons and place right on the edge there. Right like that. Okay. Alright, so like that. And now you can see we have a clock. Now, how many items... Yeah, just to, by the way, in case you find it irritating, you can turn the farm off by putting a lever on one of these 2 blocks here and just flick it off. Alright, so how many items should go in this hopper? Well, you're gonna have to try it out. In my tests on this world, it's 6 items. Like that. We want 2 things, like we said. We want to take the signal from here and just basically run it into that block, which will power this dispenser, which will contain bone meal, like this. But then we also want to take the signal over this way and take it up here, right? And the easiest way, I think, anyway, to do that is to put a sticky piston here, put 3 slime blocks on top of that, and then a redstone block like that. Now, if you're very snazzy, you can actually put the redstone block here. So one block further towards the farm. Quickly put the slime there, and then the sticky piston next to it like this. And because there's always going to be a block here, the water won't escape. So in order for this to work properly, we need to have a block here, and we need to have a torch, redstone torch on that block. Okay, and then you need to just put redstone here, like that. This needs to go up 1. So you actually need 4 slime in this case. I think I built it smaller over here. No, okay, it's 4. Okay, never mind. Alright, and then, in theory, you should just be able to connect the redstone like that, and it should work fine. This needs to be a furnace as well. I forgot to mention. As you can see, it works fine here. Now, if it doesn't work, that's when you need to bring out your repeaters. Because if it doesn't work, that is because the water is not out for long enough or something like that, right? And so what you need to do then, and this can depend on servers, it can depend on all sorts of stuff. The first course of action then is to add a delay here. And you're gonna have to test out how much of a delay. If you need more than 4 ticks, you can add another repeater here. But yeah, in this case, it just works fine like this. Yeah, and this is the flower farm built. So let's see it in action here. Let's see what kind of flowers we get. We get some allium and some poppies. Alliums and poppies. So that's what we're going to get in this farm. And now, as you can see, you get a fair amount of wheat seeds as well. And it's a good idea here, I think, to add a sorter here that sorts out the wheat seeds and composts them back into bone meal. Now, you won't be able to cover all of your needs here with that, but you will be able to, of course, at least help out with your bone meal supply. But you do really need a mob farm or something like that. In this case here, we get 2 flowers. You can find some other little places around your flower forest and build other modules there. And then you can actually also then, of course, combine them together and control them all with 1 clock. That's what I would do. In fact, that's what I'm going to do on my survival world on the obsidian order very shortly. Check that out as well. But anyway, guys, there we have it. A super simple, modular, all-flower flower farm. Basic redstone, old school redstone. But the trick is to find your spot and just use that old school knowledge in these modules. Yeah, so thank you for watching, guys, and leave a like, leave me a comment, and I will see you in the next tutorial or in my next video. Thank you for watching, and bye!